The road home. The road home to yourself and your truth is a tricky one because it goes two ways at once. As an eternal being, this road is always and simultaneously stretching in and stretching out, expanding infinitely and unfolding outward and returning to its center, all at once. What a trip! Literally and metaphorically. Because of this, everything in your life is a symbol and a reflection of your relationship to yourself. The outward is always leading you inward and vice versa. As you all well know, if you've been in my space for a while, money is one of my roads home. Why? Because it is one of the areas that I felt most limited by and unfree with my whole life, and the most ashamed of and shamed by. It was not the only area, of course, but one of the big ones. But what I know is that what triggers me and causes me the most pain is the dragon that I need to befriend. The top two things that I have used in my life to measure my value and success as a human being was my body size and weight and money. And being chubby and broke and on the feast or famine roller coaster of business for most of my life was not helping my cause. So I went to battle with those two things all my life, trying to prove I was not that. Trying to prove I was in control and in charge and a successful human being with my ability to either lose weight and then promptly gain it all back again, or be successful in my career and then tank for months or have all the money get wiped out somehow. But battle with those things was not the answer. Battle is only the answer if you want to keep doing battle. If you want to do battle for the rest of your life, then by all means, battle away. But if you want to have peace in your body, mind, and soul, acceptance and love is the only way to begin. If you do acceptance and love instead of battle, you get acceptance and love instead of battle. For me, that began with accepting and loving the part of me that did love money and loved having money and being able to do the things that I wanted to do in my life that required money, rather than pretending not to care about it or trying to pretend it didn't matter to me and that my happiness was not dependent on it, and yet simultaneously money was all important to my survival and my well-being and to how well I was doing in my life, as I had been raised to believe, to simultaneously reject it and chase it. I had to get clear on that whole mess as a first step. Then I had to love and accept that I was a, quote, failure at that. That I had chosen the path of my creative spirit again and again in my life. And it had, quote, cost me my thriving. And of course it did. Because again, that is what I was taught to believe. That's what we were taught to believe in this world. But I still had to love and accept me in that losing and in that failing, because as long as I place my value in those numbers, I will be at the mercy of those numbers and always battling for my worth or battling to keep it. It was the same with my weight and my body. I had to learn to let myself be. I had to learn to love myself through that discomfort. It's really funny, the American saying that we have, quote, she's really let herself go. It's designed to be cruel and to shame people by pointing at weakness. but it actually points to a deeper strength. Most often, people who let themselves, quote, go, simply let a version of themselves go. They let a performance go that they were trying to keep up and that was exhausting. And they finally just let themselves be. Which can look messy sometimes and not up to standard. And yet, it is worthy of love. Because I and you and every other being is worthy of love at all times. Because you are love. And the sooner you come back to that truth, instead of stuffing yourself into boxes of what's lovable or not, the more rich and deeply fulfilling your life will be and will become in every regard. In order to not let either one of these things rule my life and my value, I had to embrace both of them and release both of them more than I ever had all at once. It doesn't actually make any logical sense when I say that and when you think about it, but that is what this journey home has been. I had to embrace my brokenness and my richness, my money and my lack of money, my fatness and my thinness, my beauty and my ugliness, my high achiever and my loser, and anything and everything in between. The way back to myself was always both sides of the spectrum, never one. If we've been doing personal development, healing, or anything with the spiritual journey for any amount of time, we tend to know this, right? But we do not always tend to do this. We tend to not love the one who cares a great deal about money or success, or not love the one who doesn't. We tend to not love the one who doesn't eat a perfect diet and isn't a perfect size or perfect picture of beauty. Or we tend to hate and resent the ones that are or seem to be. It still amazes me how much I can know this from a very deep place, and yet my mind still attempts to categorize me into one thing or the other thing. Do you want to lead people to the truth of their heart and soul, or do you want to help them with money, Sonny? Figure it out, Sonny. And the answer is always right in my face, all the time, all the while. It's both. I intend to help people with both because that is what I want for me. I want to follow the truth of my heart and soul and not let money stop me from doing that and allow money to support me in doing that. And unfortunately, that's what money so often does in our current time and world. It so often stops people from doing what they truly want to do and pursuing what they truly want to pursue. But I differ from many other mentors and coaches in that the only results that I am promising you with any of my work is more of wonderful, amazing you. Why? Because I know that your higher self and heart and soul knows what to do to get you where you want to go in life, even when your conscious mind doesn't. I know that and trust it like I trust there are stars in the sky. I'm not going to promise you any kind of control. I've spent way too long in the pain of trying to control myself to subject you to any more of that mess. All I'm ever offering you is an invitation to discover more of the magic that is you. And that is worth more than all the money in the world, and yet includes all the money in the world within it. See what I mean about those opposites? The road home to ourselves is both in and out, back and forth, right and left, up and down, round and round, all at once. It has been my experience that you can have all the things that you love when you start bringing love to all of the parts that you don't love. And I'm here to help with that. Thank you for joining me today. And if you'd like to get these posts to your inbox every Sunday, you can do so at sunnychapman.com/more. And you can find out about all of the ways that I can help with that at sunnychapman.com.